Abhijeet Gupta has attacked the pawn on b5 and Gukesh moves his knight to c4 attacking the rook. Notice that Abhijeet Gupta couldn't have taken the pawn because knight d6 check was a fork, so he moved his rook to b8. Look at Gukesh's time, he has just 7 seconds on the clock. He moves to c2 attacking the bishop. Abhijeet knows that his position is bad, but time can help him. So he moves his bishop to f4. Now Gukesh has to decide whether he should take the pawn or not, and he snatches the pawn. What happens if bishop d6 here? Well, then at the very least Gukesh has rook f7 check. If king g6, there is rook f6 check. So king g6 played by Abhijeet in this position, and Gukesh knows that bd6 is still not a threat because of rook e6 check. So he brings his king back to b3 in the position. Abhijeet now needs to find some tricks because he's low on time. He decides to push the pawn. He has set a trap. If Gukesh pushes b4, then rook takes b4, king takes b4 and bd6 check. Gukesh, look at his time, he has 8 seconds, and in that he finds this amazing idea, rook e4, king f5. And now what to do? Should you repeat? Should you go back? Well, not really. Look at Gukesh there, he's so focused. He picks up the bishop, sacrifices an exchange, and now pushes his pawn to b4. He has 2 extra pawns for the exchange, but Abhijeet now attacks the pawn on g7. If he can win it, then he can create a passer on the other side of the board. Gukesh moves his knight away. He's making way for the a pawn to push forward. If Abhijeet picks up the pawn on g7, which he does, Gukesh pushes. Now if rook a7, a2, and then knight can block on a3, the a pawn will queen. That's the reason why Abhijeet has to find another way to stop the pawn. He goes rook e7, pawn to a2, and now where does the rook go? Rook e1, he stopped it this way. What does Gukesh do next? He has 1 minute 35 seconds. Notice him having the queen in his hand. He goes king a3. He wants to push b3, b2 and make a queen. But that is going to take at least 3 moves. Can Abhijeet create his own queen on the king side? That's what he does. He pushes his pawn. H takes g5. Now king takes g5. Looks logical, but Abhijeet has now started to think, is there any way in which he can save his position? He picks up the pawn, and with this last 5 to 6 quick moves, Gukesh has added 3 minutes on the clock. h6 by Abhijeet, and now such a nice gesture by Gukesh, giving Abhijeet the queen there. So cool. b2, and now a1 queen is a threat. If Abhijeet pushes h7, then a1 queen. Gukesh goes there to get another queen for himself. Notice if you take rook takes a1, then b takes a1 stops the queen on h8, otherwise the e1 rook is hanging. Abhijeet knows he's lost the game. Gukesh comes back to the board, and Abhijeet doing his final calculations. He's come down to 1 minute, and there they have a fist bump. Abhijeet resigns the game. Gukesh has won. With this, he moves on to a massive 8.5 points out of 10 with the joint first place, finishing second. But such a nice gesture by Abhijeet Gupta, analyzing his game with Gukesh. He has lost 2 critical encounters with Gukesh in the penultimate of national championship, penultimate round, and also here in the final round. Gukesh is really a monster, beating Abhijeet Gupta with black pieces. And look at that final moment where Gukesh now touches his hand to the board in respect. What a talent he is.